desk, wherever you put your circle. A big deal, that really the main reason, the main technique to realize when you're drawing 3D is know where your light source is coming from. So if my light is on the right-hand side, what's going to be on the left-hand side of the page?
You're shading.
Shadow. What kind of shadows? There are two types of shadows. Anybody know? Okay, there's a cast shadow because it's being cast on the ground. So you just draw like another circle. Just draw another circle next to your other circle. And just by doing that, that kind of gives it, we're building on a three-dimensional image. So this is called a cast shadow because the shadow is being cast onto the ground, right? So now what we're going to do is our hatching technique. And we're going to make this, you're going to do some hatching inside that shadow. Make it pretty dark because it's a hot sunny day and the sun's really bright. Maybe go do some cross hatching in there too. So just by doing that, that gives it dimension and perspective. We're adding more value to the shadow, which makes that circle kind of pop out, and we're turning it into a sphere. And the beauty about that is it doesn't really matter what shape this, I mean, it's got to kind of look like a circle. It doesn't have to be exact. But depending on the surface, that shadow can be kind of loosey-goosey or not perfect. And it also depends on where the sun is. Okay, so there's this other shadow called a form shadow. Somebody tell me what they think that might be, a form shadow. What's the form we're dealing with? Is it a circle or a sphere?
Sphere.
A sphere. So a form shadow takes the form of the thing that you're drawing. So I'm going to use hatching again, and I'm just going to follow the form of the ball. So I start out with little lines, and then I get bigger towards the middle, because think about a ball, it's got like roundness to it. And the way you do that is to put your hatching, or even stippling. You can do stippling. But my shadow is not straight because this isn't a straight object. It's not a straight sphere. Exactly. So form shadow takes the form of the thing. And then you can also do hatching and cross hatching. Right? So just by doing that, it looks like you kind of got a pretty decent drawing without even really getting into it that much. And the more you embellish that and the more you work it, the better your drawing will get. Okay, let's look at this. Let's say the sun was here. So now this is a different perspective. If the sun's here, where's the cast shadow going to be? Right in front. So it's going to be like right in here. Right? And then you would do that. So if the sun was over here, where's the shadow going to be? On that side. Because this ball is blocking, that's not a good shadow, but you get the point. This ball is blocking the light rays that are hitting it, causing a shadow. But also your form shadows are going to change too. You know, if the sun's here, your form shadow is going to be in here. If the sun's coming this way, it's going to be on this side of the ball. Like that. Okay, so that all deals with the word perspective. Just like in the little clip, the waiter had a different perspective than the person who was being the critique. We all have different perspectives that we're dealing with. So now we're going to go back to metaphor. How can we use these terms that we just talked about? Let me put it this way. Here are some drawing techniques. Stippling, hatching, cross-hatching, those are drawing techniques. How could that be a metaphor for some techniques that you guys need to have here at Riverview? Which is called, what we're doing is called cognition or metacognition. We're rethinking what we're thinking about. Can those drawing techniques be related to the things that you're dealing with now in your life? And what could they be? I mean, maybe that's a rhetorical question. Maybe we don't answer that out loud, but you know, think about what's going to make your drawing three-dimensional. Right now, you're creating something. Your life is creating something. you're creating a drawing in some way. Is it two-dimensional or is it three-dimensional? What perspective are you taking? Are you just thinking on a linear level, or are you thinking embodied cognition? Are you thinking about your perspective only? Or maybe take the perspective of your teachers, or maybe take the perspective of your parents or your grandparents, or maybe the perspective of your kids in the future that you haven't had yet.